Welcome to Metallarium Pages, Efthimis. It's a great pleasure to talk with you again for the second time because we spoke like 4 years ago for the At Night We Prayed, and now we are speaking for our Children of the Eve, this new album. So we are starting by asking, how are you doing today? How is the band on the last couple years? Because your previous album was released in pandemic times, and now we have this album outside of the pandemic.
That's true. First of all, thank you very much for your time to be here with us. It was a long period during the pandemic. We had released At Night We Pray after many years of silence from our side. And we expected to hit the road with that album, but it didn't happen due to the reasons everybody experienced back then. So I didn't lose any time. I started creating new stuff, riff by riff. And eventually I came up with a demo, which I shared with my bandmates, and it all led to Children of Eve. Children of Eve, it's quite the opposite of At Night We Pray. At Night We Pray was introvert, was a very, very dark and soul-searching, let's say, album, while Children of Eve is brighter, it's much more aggressive, it's epic, and it's the best stuff for us to play live, which we're looking forward to play live.
Okay. Yeah. That one thing that I didn't know that about in compared to At Night We Prayed with the Children of Eve, and also I remember that you explained me that At Night We Pray it was an introvert album, and now there is a huge difference for this. Now, talking about the composition process for these Children of the Eve compared to the other one, is there any songs rescue for the previous album, or all the songs are new for this new one?
All the songs are new. We never, spend time trying to work on additional tracks if we're not 100% that it's not worthy, the effort. The composition is a very long process in the Nightfall camp, and it requires always contribution from each member. So even if you don't contribute music-wise, you have to say your opinion, and I have to explain and to support why this riff is there or why this melody is here, etc., etc. So it's not just like, a machine that sits down or a guy that sits down and starts working on, let's say, 20 tracks, and then we sort out what are the most impressive ones or the best to put in the album. We work very seriously, very slowly, and another thing that we do, since we have our own recording studio, our drummers, Deva Sound, what we do is we record stuff, and then we let it there for a few weeks, and then get back to it and listen again with much clearer, let's say, head. And this is a very revealing process. It's long, it's painful, it's boring sometimes, but it's great to do because at the end of the day, you have the best in your hands.
Okay. Now talking about more about this, well, the comparison that we have here, because At the Night We Pray it was released during the pandemic time, so there is no opportunity to do full tours, gigs, etc. And now we are all the Children of the Eve, so now outside of this one. So for you, how do you compare the era of the At Night We Pray with these Children of the Eve, and how will you focus the next presentation of this of Nightfall? You will show in a live both albums, or you just will present the new album?
We are very keen to hit the stages and go play everywhere to support Children of Eve, and of course to support also At Night We Pray that stood behind due to that pandemic thing. So our stage list is made up by tracks, from all the eras of Nightfall. But the most important thing right now for us is to support Children of Eve and At Night We Pray, of course.
Okay. Now, talking all other kind of topics, all that one thing that captured my attention is that you decide to change the cover art, the cover art maker, because in your previous album was the cover art was did by Travis Smith, and now we have Aliran Cantor behind of this cover art. So why you decide to first change the cover art for the new album, and well, yeah, how what are the reasons, and why do you select Eliran Cantor? For you, what is special Eliran Cantor has compared to a ton of artists that we have here to create cover arts?
That's a very good question, and the truth is that we got thought about Eliran Cantor sometime back in 22, something like that, in the studio, and we saw his works, and we decided to get in contact with him. He was an old fan of the band. His origin is from the Eastern Mediterranean. He's Israeli, that he's living in Berlin. So we share too many common things, in culturally wise. And since the album is about the three Abrahamic religions, he knows well what the symbolism we wanted to give through it. So I think that working with Eliran was the best, not only because of his skills, his painting skills, but also because of the common background, cultural background we share as Greeks and Jews, as Greek and Jews. So it was very important that it helped a lot. Eliran delivered perfectly. We discussed about the concept. We sent him a demo tape, the lyrics and everything about it. It was a very nice process, long process again, and it all came out the way we wanted because we could communicate each other. I'm not saying that Travis Smith is anything less or he's inferior, whatever. He's an ultra great artist. We did two covers, two artworks with him. But we just felt that working with Eliran on Children of Eve would be really, really efficient.
Okay. Other detail other detail that for me is interesting to speak. At night we pray. It was a introvert record, and now you said at the beginning of this interview that these albums are children of the as extrovert records. So there is an option that these two albums are linked for the conceptual things. The side A with or the black side with the white side, for example, or the yin and yang for the situation of this one. So there is an option that these two albums are related conceptually.
Yeah, you can go as far as you just put it, Javier. It's a very smart thing what you're saying, and we may reply on that question by saying yes and no. I mean, initially there was no such an intention, to do a follow up to At Night We Pray. But the way the tracks have been developed, the lyrics, the concept, and the sound, and how aggressive this album is compared to At Night We Pray, it makes them both one completing the other. So the answer to your question is yes and no. There was no intention, but yes, it turned out to be exactly what you're saying.
Okay. Now talking about a little more for the promotion for this new album. What kind of promotion do you have for these Children of the Eve? Well, I saw that you released a lot of videos, released a lyric video and more things. So, but what kind of plans do you have for this new album? Perhaps you will embark some videos, or so you'll embark some tours there, or perhaps you will come for the first time in Latin America for a full tour. Who knows? What kind of plans do you have in general?
The best and the absolute target we have as a band right now is to hit the road extensively, to play everywhere and in support of this new album and the previous one. Now, in respect to the areas, to the schedules, and to the packages, which other bands we're going to play with, this is something that we're discussing right now. And I'm optimistic that we're going to have some good opportunities out there soon.
Okay, okay, nice, nice, nice. So now this album is one week will be 1 week old. So in just couple days. So how was the reception of this new album? I mean about the comments, about the reviews, how it was the reception for this new album for the press in general. So do you have time to read all reviews and how do you take about the review for the band, for example?
Reviews have been excellent so far. I haven't felt so excited about the new album of Nightfall since the 90s. It's it's a feeling that I was totally, forgotten about it. I haven't felt it, for so long. So as soon as the first video came out, I started to understand that this album is going to make a really big impact to the fans of black and death metal because it's really unique. It combines with a very interesting and successful way, I must say, epicness with brutality. So you have, really brutal riffing, furious riffing, manic riffing, and then we have the peak of each track with an epic chorus or an epic part that it's really interesting, how the two blend each other. So also the effort Jacob Hansen put in his approach has played a very big role as well. It's one of the rare times when everything in a project works perfectly. Usually you're missing a small thing here, another small thing somewhere there, or you didn't have the right producer or the right, sound engineer or the right place. But this time, it's one of the really rare times for our band that everything and everybody was in the best possible shape and place.
Okay, okay, amazing, amazing. So, and other
Yeah,
thing I
yeah.
can.
I think we are lucky this time, and it's good because we've been unlucky a few times in the past, and it was payback time for us.
No, okay, okay. I understand. I understand. Thank you very much for this info. Now, talking about more about the one thing that captures all the time my attention is when the band. Well, for me, you play like a melodic death metal band with a lot of influence for the Hellenic area, etc., etc. Because you're from Greece. But some people just say that you play something mixed with the dark, other times with gothic. But I cannot find that influence in your music. You are more aggressive in some ways, and obviously you have a little touch or textures or layers in your music. But for me, it's not possible to denote for these layers. You play like dark, melodic, doom, death, gothic. I don't know. you know, the people is very crazy trying to label a band just for 1 or 2 seconds when they found a different sound. As you are the creator of the band, so how do you label the style of the music? For me, you are playing melodic death metal band in your way. It's not like the Swedish or the Finnish scene. It's a different way to play like melodic death metal. So, but you are the creator of the music since with the band since 1991. So how do you label the music of the band?
I would say it's extreme music, which is very generic, but it's maybe the only label that can cover all the influences that have passed through this band since day one. However, I would say that we are a Black Death or a blackened death metal band, call it as you wish. Uh, with the typical Greek sound. We are one of the founders of the traditional Greek sound, so to speak. So I think we have contributed a lot towards that sound, and it does characterize our stuff the same like any other Greek band. It's difficult to sustain that special element in our productions since we record with modern gear and we use very good studios here or abroad. But the way our melodies, especially the guitar melodies, are unfolded, it's a very characteristic Greek way, in that. It's a very, very characteristic. So I must say that we're an extreme band from Greece. That would be the best label.
Okay, 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 nice, nice, nice. Well, one thing that captured my attention is, oh, when I remember when I spoke with one of the members of Septic Flesh, and I provide the information. I remember very well. I spoke with them, with him, saying that, well, I remember the first era for the extreme music in Greece, Septic Flesh, Rotting Christ, Baratron, Nightfall, because you are since the 1991 in that world. But I remember according to him, he doesn't consider you, he doesn't consider you as one of the creators for this Hellenic sound. There, are you, because you are more like the melodic death metal and not more like involved into this wave of the black Greek metal?
No, unfortunately for him, we are the forerunners, and Nightfall was the very first band that got signed to a label abroad from outer Greece. And the first thing I said, to the French guys when we got signed to them is that some friends of mine play also cool music, and I would like, to introduce you these guys. Maybe you sign them as well. And I was talking about Septic Flesh. So I don't know who you spoke to and why he said what he said, but history cannot be, rewritten.
Okay, okay, okay. And now that it's talking about now a little more from the history of the Nightfall, I saw that you are one of the last you are the last members from the band since 1991. So I remember that I read a lot of information about the vanity of the Prometheus from the 1992. But I saw that you created all these EPs by yourself, so, or these demos by yourself at that moment, recording all process, and then you gather more people. Now, as you are the last member for the Nightfall, how many things changed since the beginning, since you started created all the music by your own, and now you have now three new members since years ago, about to create more music about this one.
I feel blessed, and I feel blessed because I had the opportunity to play with many interesting persons and musicians. That made me much wiser and more delicate in terms of understanding the different opinion and get the best out of any situation. We're not stuck the same guys in the same studio room for 30 years and trying, to convince our fans that we sound fresh and modern. It's impossible. In order to sound, fresh and modern, you have to play ball, with the real stuff. And the real stuff in our music is the human factor. There's nothing else. So I feel blessed because, as I had the opportunity to play with many great musicians, and the same is happening right now with Fotis, Bernardo, Kostas Kyriakopoulos, and Vasily Kibiza. We are very strong on stage. We are very committed to do the best, the absolute best, and we are keen to hit the road kids again. We don't feel tired at all. And I believe that Children of Eve will sound much better live on stage than in the studio. This is a bet we are gonna put to ourselves.
Okay, 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 okay. Now other topics. Well, talking about your old career, I saw that you started the band by your own, composing everything. In some areas you play bass, and some areas you play keyboards, and some areas you are right now you are the full frontman of the man, but and other times you play guitars. So, and how do you now? You started the band's creating this topic of trying to compose riffs, demos, etc., by your own. And then, well, as you can see, there is a huge topic now of talking about the artificial intelligence, that one person can do everything with one technology. And now, how do you approach when you play everything since the beginning with the band, and now you can see there's a tool that plays everything for you, and just to sing this one, is good or is bad for the new musicians?
I think that we have already covered a lot of things that we haven't talked openly about them until the time, we reach the concept of artificial intelligence. What I want to say is the following: that back in the 90s, for example, or the 80s, and even previous, bands were real bands. So the musician had to be with the other musicians, practice and practice, and recording, erasing, recording, erasing. It was a long process, very vivid process that at the end was the outcome of a teamwork. Then in the 90s, we had the introduction of the personal computers with all these new technologies, with software that could play instruments and stuff like that. So we had drum machines, we had choirs, we had strange things attached in our music. And by that time, people who run studios, they started thinking about what the future will bring, because everybody was able to record an album in his bedroom. So it took only a few years for everybody to understand that no matter how good technology you have in your home, uh, nothing can beat the real thing, which is a studio, a proper good studio recording and a live stage performance. So, however, I think that the final answer always lies with the honesty of the bands. I see bands that they are equal members and they exchange ideas about the music, and the final result is not, just the work of one member or two members, but it's a collective thing. And I see many other acts that they name themselves bands, but actually they're on a one-man show or a duetto with some hired guns that they only, assist the guys on stage, and in the studio they keep it silent. They don't speak, they don't contribute, they don't say anything. So this is not a band for me. This is a solo career featuring some guys, or a duet featuring some guys. And technology is also helping a lot in in the right combination and in the right amounts. So doing 100% artificial art, it doesn't serve any purpose, because you're not an artist. You are a software developer or something like that. So I guess we're talking about a total different, thing here. I don't believe that musicians or artists will ever be totally swollen by artificial intelligence. They're going to be artificial intelligence and the real thing.
Okay, okay. Well, that is true. That is true about all this information. So now,
Nobody knows, of course. Only time will tell. But
yeah.
I think that there is plenty of room for additional stuff in arts.
Okay, yeah. Well, there is a lot of time for this. There's a plenty time for this. So now talking about this over time, as you can talk over this situation of the new technology in the world, as you can see, there's 1,000 bands that now sounds amazing, great musicians, great everything. So no bad records now. It's not like the 80s or 90s when you remember that, because we are there. We are there as you are as a musician, I'm as a fan. I remember when you find 5 records, 3 sounds amazing, 2 not sound amazing. So that's normally at that moment, but that is the beauty of that era. But now we have 60 or 50 releases per weekend, and all these albums of extreme music sounds amazing. So what's your point of view about now these over releases per weekend, and also this about the standardization of the sound into the extreme music, especially because the extreme music brings this standardization of the sound into extreme metal?
It's a very nice question. Unfortunately, there's no safe answer here. We enjoy the freedom to play our music as much as everybody out there. So the more bands there appear, it's the better for people who like more stuff to get experience, with it. But a bad thing for anybody who's working in the music industry and he or she is trying to do a breakthrough, let's say, with his or her music. So it's just a phase in time. Um, the only thing I want to hear is interesting stuff, good stuff. And before anything else, I would love to listen to some good production, but not in the terms of clear, perfect, but I want to listen to the human factor, which means that a little bit of imperfection always serves, for a good cause.
Okay, okay, okay. Now talking about other, well, we are close to in this interview, Efthimis, and for this, so now you have more than 10 records in your career. That's a huge accomplishment for a band. Now, if you try to relate this topic, which are the three big milestones that Nightfall has in your career? For example, the first album could be the first one as because they revealed to the world. This last album is the best word to date. Who knows? For you, which is the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
word is best word to date or define the sound of Nightfall?
We start with Parade to Centuries because it was not only our debut, but it was also Holy Records' debut, that French label that supported many Greek bands and the Greek scene in total. And also it was the debut of the entire extreme metal Greek scene abroad. So it was a very big step for the extreme scene in Greece to get out of the borders, to become international, let's say, acclaimed. As I used to say, that was an experiment back then because there was some French guys who decided to put their money in a Greek band that was Nightfall, and we had to deliver. And we did with a very serious, let's say, in a very serious note. We did everything the best way we could, and it worked. The experiment flourished, and then more French labels supported more Greek bands, and that affair goes until today. I mean, it all started with that very album back then. And that's a very big moment for us, and it will be, among the three standpoints in our career. The second one was Lesbian Show back in '97 because lyrically wise was maybe the most depth poetry I could write until that time. I mean, I came up with a Homeric poem like Iliad or like Odyssey, and I played with the words and the sexes, and I named my fate back then and my life as two female personas that they made it up together and they abandoned me. So I played with that sort of meanings. It was very difficult to deliver back then. There was no internet and people could not understand, the way I was playing with allegories, with metaphors, with parallelisms. It was very difficult for me to explain as well. So that album got it suffered a great misconception by people because many believed that it was a sexual, related release, but it was not. So all that mess that it caused, along with all that work I put in that, made it unforgettable to me, and I consider it as the second, let's say, standout point in our career. And the third one is Children of Eve, because it makes us feel like young dudes again. I mean, we feel so excited about this release in all terms, and we feel very much confident about the quality of the album. I mean, you can feel it, you can sense it that there is, extra quality in every single place, either the music or the visual part. So this is a very big thing for us, and we're looking forward to reestablish the band and and hit the road and get in connection again with the fans that they haven't seen us for so many years because we didn't tour.
Okay, I understand for this. And well, Efthimis, we arrived to the sad moments of this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. And this new album, Children of the Eve, is a terrific album. Congratulations on this new one. It's a great one. So, and perhaps we want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Methalirium followers.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. We're looking forward to come and play and meeting you all, you guys there. You are so great, and for all those who stand by night for all these years, we have to thank them from the depths of our hearts because it's very rare to be a band that does not do tours for so long time or does not release an album for so long time, but people still remember it. And whenever we do a new album, they're always out there, waiting for us to hear it and discuss about it and get inspired. This is amazing. This is really great.